Delivering negative feedback to your employees can be awkward, uncomfortable, and let's face it, a little intimidating. As a manager, you may find yourself avoiding these conversations in an effort to spare an employee's feelings or to preserve good working relationships. We understand your dilemma, but we're here to tell you, you aren't doing your employee any favors by withholding constructive criticism about where he or she needs to improve. Think about it. Their performance isn't up to par, and by avoiding the uncomfortable conversation, you're depriving them of the opportunity to make necessary changes. We advocate providing constructive feedback regularly, rather than waiting for a formal review. That being said, you do need to pay attention to the language you use when having these types of conversations. Most important, you need to avoid any language or description of the employee that might be discriminatory according to state or federal labor law. A good rule of thumb is to be factual and confine your comments to the employee's performance rather than personality, as these types of remarks can be interpreted as a personal attack. An example of words to avoid would be descriptions such as sloppy or messy, which sound like value judgments rather than an appraisal of performance. While every workplace and situation is different, the following are some guidelines and helpful suggestions on how to proceed. Start off by getting right to the point. Say something like, "The purpose of our meeting is," or "I called you here to discuss." Next, outline where you're going with the conversation. Use openings such as, "I have a concern about," or "There's a problem with." After that, fill the employee in on what you know about the situation or performance gap. Preface your thoughts with phrases such as, "I saw," or "When I was informed of the problem, I looked into it by." Next, carefully outline the consequences that await if there is no improvement in performance. Try using phrases like, "If I see no improvement," or "according to company policy." After you've communicated the problem and shared the consequences, you need to hear what the employee has to say. Invite such dialogue with questions such as, "That's my take on this situation, but what's your view?" Or, "Is that the way you see things?" When discussing the situation, be careful not to use phrases such as "I understand," which can be misinterpreted to sound like you accept poor performance. Next, communicate a plan of action. Be as clear as possible using phrases like "you must" or "by our next meeting you will have." Finally, summarize the conversation from both ends, finishing up with an outline of each person's responsibilities going forward. Use starters such as "you will" and "I will." Always commit to following up on the employee's progress and set your next meeting up before you wrap up. Again, delivering negative feedback isn't easy, but it is critical to your employee's performance and your company's success. To learn more, explore the Human Resources and Discipline and Termination sections of the website. You'll find lots of information that will help guide you in this process.